first up, we have Asko and Roope, Asko Saarenketo from Asko and Roope Seppälä from Microsoft. And I guess there's an increasing amount of businesses that are facing the problem of transformation into SaaS. And therefore, I'm at least thrilled to hear your story that you have to tell. But there's not much that we should say about it, but just hand over the floor to you. So there you go, guys.
Thank you, and good afternoon and good International Women's Day, everyone. My name is Roope Seppälä. I'm developer audience lead at Microsoft Finland, and I've been working with Azure in various roles here at Microsoft for past 6 years, and it has been a blast to see how Azure and the usage patterns have developed during this time. Technology is exciting, and it's truly interesting to study the leaps the technology makes and the different public cloud-based innovations. But I think that's less than half of the story. For me and for many companies, the most important thing is to study the models, how companies are actually making the most of public cloud. It's not just the technology, but organizations' ability to change its work patterns to make the cloud transformation successful. And on stage here, I have Asko Saarenketo of M-Files, who is more than qualified to discuss the topic. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Roope, and hi everyone. So my name is Asko Saarenketo. I have been working at M-Files almost 14 years in various different positions and roles. Most of that time I have been working with our cloud service, M-Files Cloud, and currently I'm working as a cloud lead architect.
Okay. Should we start and maybe tell something about M-Files?
Yeah, sure. So just to start from the beginning, so the first version of M-Files was released more than 15 years ago. Back then we were quite typical software company selling software licenses to other companies. We also were providing different kind of services for our customers, like helping them to install the system, integrate with other business systems, defining business processes with them, and configuring the M-Files basically. And yeah, so we are a product company. We are targeting to grow. Our product M-Files is a metadata-based document and information management platform, and like it's a platform, and it can be used for various different use cases. We are operating globally, so we have customers around the globe and working in various different industries.
Yeah. So, okay, 15 years. So, when was it actually when you got your first cloud customers?
It was year 2010 when we got our very first cloud customer. During that time, we of course already had experience on configuring M-Files to customer servers and so on. So we kind of knew what we are doing. There was of course some consideration how to do that in cloud, but I would say that the first setups were relatively straightforward. Most of the configuration was done more or less manually at this point. And at the very beginning, we were also using traditional servers. So we got up to speed very quickly because it was like manually configured environment and traditional servers. It was quite easy to adjust the environment, and also during this process, we learned quite a bit how we want to do things in future. So I guess this is like a good things, of course, like having the flexibility and possibility to do the rapid changes to the environment. Of course, it might be that nowadays I would do it a bit differently, but those are still important aspects when you start something new. Also very important is that we got the confirmation that our customers are willing to pay for M-Files cloud service, and that helped us to invest more on the development work too.
So when you started this first phase, you started to work with the first customers in public cloud. What was the size of your cloud team at the time?
It was quite small. At the very beginning, our cloud team was only 3 employees. We had like more employees in our company, but those 3 employees, we were the only ones who were like dedicated to do this work. We had a little bit different backgrounds and roles and responsibilities, of course, but we still were, all of us, we were able to do troubleshooting and fixing issues for the customers and so on. We also had customers in Europe and America at the very beginning already. That could have been an issue because all of 3 we were working on the same time zone. But fortunately, it went quite well still. Maybe because we had quite small customers at this point and not so many, and they didn't have that special requirements at this point yet.
Yeah. So, okay. So moving to Azure, taking benefit of the public cloud, the initial change was pretty much migration of existing environment. But when you started to work on Azure and started to think about the benefits of public cloud, what were the main reasons to move there for M-Files?
Yeah, so it was very evident that the way we started, it was not like a scalable way of working. Our company really wanted to grow, and we had to make decisions based on that, of course. So we decided to move to Azure maybe 1 year after we got the first cloud customer on board.
Okay.
So we basically just started to look into better and more modern cloud platforms which were available back then, and we wanted to have, for instance, more automation, better high availability features, and we were also interested about platform as a service applications and using them if possible. We also thought that it would be good to use well-known and credible cloud provider just to help our sales efforts, and of course it's easier to trust also if it's like big player in the field.
Yeah. So, and did you meet these targets then by moving to Azure, and what was the key findings there?
Yeah, I believe we were able to achieve the targets. After we got our service running in Azure, we were able to focus on correct things. We were able to improve our operational efficiency after doing that, and to put it simple, it's like 1 employee was able to handle more customers in this new environment compared to the previous one. And maybe one example is the Azure SQL database service. That was one of the main reasons why we selected Azure in the first place. We had maintained Microsoft SQL servers ourselves previously in the old environment, so we knew how to do that. But at the same time, we thought that it would be better to let someone else to do that work and let us ourselves to focus on developing and hosting our own product. Yeah. So we thought that someone else would do that better and in more scalable manner. And it also gave us possibility to hire new M5 experts instead of like hiring a team of database administrators.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the business goal was to expand, to get new customers and expand the customer base, and your role was then to find ways how you can actually maintain the application or the software itself, the M5 itself, in this scenario, and chose the public cloud for those targets. Okay, so customer base was growing. What kind of things would you like to raise if we concentrate on the growth of the customer base? What happened there?
Yeah, so we continued to get more and more customers, but maybe more dramatic change was the size of the customers. If you consider like the number of end users, like per one big customer, the level of magnitude basically grow to the next level at this point. And when you get more end users, it typically also means that you will get more data to your system as well. So at this point, we had to do like more optimization, consider our product, optimize different aspects of it, and improve our scalability in general. And I guess that this is quite normal phase when the usage grows. But it was also easy to see it is as like an investment for the future.
Yeah. And so operational efficiency to make sure that you can actually maintain the ongoing environment with bigger customer base and working on that. I think it also increases work in many other aspects than just technical side. Is there some non-technical things that you like to mention?
Yeah, so when we started to get larger and larger customers, and maybe when we also worked with very specific industries, we learned that they want to audit us and our processes.
Yeah.
They wanted to like ensure that we have processes and documentation in place that that we are following like industry best practices and so on. It of course helped that Azure had those certificates, but I think that's very important and helps a lot. But at the same time, it's only like partial answer because our customers are also interested that how we do our thing there.
Yeah.
And like if you start getting a lot of those customer specific audits, that might be quite laborious. But that said, I think that all that prepared us to take the next step, which was quite naturally to get those certificates by ourselves. So when we started to the certification process for ISO 27001 and SOC 2, we have already quite many things in place. The customers who were auditing us were asking pretty similar questions from us previously. And I believe that if we would have needed to start the certification process from the zero, that would have been much more painful. But it was, of course, still laborious, but it was not that bad for us at that point. And I would also say that being certified helps for sure, because when you are selling your product for the customers, they might ask questions like, are you certified? And if you are not, then you get like 100 more questions which you need to answer. Of course, you can do that, but it might not be a scalable way of working.
Yeah, it's better be prepared. It's a bit annoying to try to meet the deadlines and filling those forms then. Okay. Then maybe we should take our focus from the M5 customers and the technology, how to tackle these things. Maybe look at your company itself, like what all this meant for your company and the employees when you move to this phase, rapid growth, changing environment, etc. So
yeah, so those new requirements from the enterprise customers, they challenge us for sure during those years, but at the same time we were able to fulfill those requirements in the end. And after this time period, I think we were in quite good position already. We had like a good standard offering for larger customers too, and also smaller customers were able to benefit some of those features. Well, there is always room for improvement, and if you consider what we have been doing during the last years, we have been modernizing now and optimizing our architecture and platform to enable like future growth, like moving to containers, improving our high availability features, optimizing the performance. But maybe most importantly, one of the key success factors in SaaS businesses is the customer experience. You want to keep your customers and keep them happy, basically. But in general, I think after taking all these steps, we have continued to improve our operational efficiency, and even if the customer size has grown quite significantly.
Hi, we are Eficode, and we organize the DEVOPS conference. Delivering the benefits of DevOps through cloud gives the scalability, availability, and cost effectiveness we all want. We would love to speak to you to learn how we could help you to do DevOps better in the cloud. You can find us at eficode.com. The links are in the description, and have a great time with the DevOps conference talks.
Yeah. So I think we should now dig into the operational efficiency part, like how and what kind of learnings you have had, because I think this 12 years in public cloud, it's a long run. I have been working with public cloud for 8 years, and I thought I'm pioneering 8 years back, but actually 12 years, that's a lot. So maybe some the operational efficiency, the working culture, what kind of key findings you would like to share to our audience?
Yeah, so let's start with the first one. Care about your operational efficiency. That could, of course, mean very different things, smaller or larger items. But my advice in general would be just trying to question if you have any manual steps in your process whenever it's reasonable. Like if you think that if there is manual step which needs to be done only for one customer, that might be just fine. But when you have something like 1,000 customers, then it's a different thing already. And even worse if you have like multiple complex manual steps and you need to do all of them for all the customers. And other thing is that it's not always that easy to predict beforehand that do you need to do this operation only once, or is it like more recurring thing what you need to do, like for instance if you need to run it on monthly basis. And I also think that improving operational efficiency, it's kind of like everyone in the team can impact on that. It might be sometimes like a little bit more automation, or maybe it's just using a little bit more thought that how things should be done to make it efficient.
Yeah, exactly, and also maybe to have like bigger picture of to understand the whole picture, how the change or new feature that I'm coding is actually behaving or affecting others in the same project. Yes. What else?
Yeah, the next thing is that developers need to know what happens in production. And when you start with the small team, that's like, it might be that all the technical people has the access to the production, and that might be just fine. But when your team starts to grow, you really need to start thinking that who needs to have access and what kind of access they can have. So like giving only the needed access is of course very good security practice, and I think that security shouldn't be sacrificed. But at the same time, developers really need to have good enough visibility what happens in production. Like it could be, for instance, seeing the resource usage or costs or analytics or logging or something like that.
Yeah.
And if they don't have that visibility, it might be that they lose the touch that how things are in real life. They might start like end up assuming how things are instead of knowing it. And it might be easy to say that don't assume, always check, but it's not that easy in practice. And if they would have access, it could be just that they use a few seconds and check it how it is. No need to guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And any other?
Yeah, the next one is who are your customers, and that's very important. Everyone should know that who is their customers. And like SaaS company like we are, the most evident answer is of course our end users, and that's fair enough and very true. But sometimes there might be additionally also some internal customers, like it might be another development team, operations team, support team, or maybe even like invoicing team. In any case, when you have the good understanding that who they are, you should figure out that what is the best way to communicate with them and how to get their honest feedback. That's very important. And when you know that whose life you are trying to make easier or who you are trying to make more happy, I believe that you will listen their feedback differently, and maybe you even start demanding to get more feedback from them.
Yeah, and maybe the assumption of the role of the feedback will change also. And the communication in any way, it's important part, and also requires lots of thinking how it actually is done and works in the organization. Okay. Okay, you have the next one already there. So yeah. Developer experience.
Yeah, so I think that's something what has been discussed quite a bit during the last years in many companies. One way to think about that is that what if you would be hired to your own team as a new employee? What you would like to know at that point, and similarly, if you really get a new employee to your team, it's always good to listen to them and what kind of questions they are asking and what they are struggling, and consider at the same time that should you improve your documentation or onboarding material or something else to make the life of new employees easier. And that's of course like balancing between that how much documentation you can really maintain and how much documentation there need to be that everyone can work efficiently. But it's like I think that most people might purposefully or accidentally start avoiding projects which are badly documented. If they don't need to do any improvements there, they might be avoiding them. And at the same time, if you have a very well documented project, it might be that you get more hands to make some improvements on that area.
Yeah. And I think we have quite many people here at the conference who have actually changed roles during the pandemic at the remote work, and this really has revealed something about our onboarding processes. Like we have lots of different kind of onboarding processes. I have changed 2 roles here, so some experience also at my side. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, last but not least is one of our most important guiding principles we have at the MFIs, help others. I'm not going to over describe what it means, but if you think that what would be better if you have like people around you who are genuinely wanting to help and support you when you really need the help, and on the other hand, it also works other way around. So if other wants to help, it's nice to help, of course, and that is one of our most important guiding principles, I believe.
Yeah, and especially now that we are working still mostly remotely, I have taken a special consideration when I noticed that there's new people that I contact them remotely and discuss about the new role and everything. So because you don't meet people at the coffee machine that much anymore. So it's really important to have that also in mind. Thank you. I think these are really important topics, and it's very insightful to hear this from you, as MFiles has learned and implemented this on the go. So when you first started working in the cloud, these kind of models of work culture were not the first thing to think. There was many other things also that were prioritized. As Microsoft, we have been addressing this a lot. So we know that the requirements of the software delivery practices have been in rapid change, and it can become a major issue if we do not adjust to the new world. And on the slide that you can see, you can find a QR code. Using the link, you can find some of the key resources to evaluate how your own organization is addressing operational efficiency, developer experience, and working processes to make sure that the whole organization is working with the same goal in mind to make your software delivery rock solid. So the first one is developer velocity assessment, and it's 9-piece assessment about technology, working culture. It starts from the tools and ends to the hiring processes, what kind of talent we are searching for. And the second is other good thing. So Microsoft Virtual Training Days are free training days, including voucher for certifications. Throughout the developer velocity assessment, there's this idea that what level of experience on the technology is required to understand the developer team. So it also addresses the leadership, the management, and the virtual training days is not only for technical people, but there's fundamental level trainings also for management level and leaders of the company to understand the tooling and the principles. So you can check those links using the QR code or the links, Googling the links. We will be on the virtual booth of Microsoft with Asko after this speak, and we have both Microsoft and M-Files people there. So if you want to join us there for questions and answers, be there. We will hang at the booth for 90 minutes or so. And afterwards, you can all, of course, send messages, and we try to answer best as quick as possible. But Asko, anything else?
Yeah, I think that's all. Maybe there was one question I think I could answer. So, how long did it take to get your first certification? We started with ISO 27001, and if I remember correctly, it took something like 2 or 3 months. But at least for us, I think you cannot really do it much faster. It might, of course, vary a little bit if you have a different size of operations and systems, but that's what we were able to do.
Okay, but thank you, and see you in the virtual booth later.
Thank you all.
And thank you for the great presentation. So there was a question, which architecture have you chosen in Azure? That's
quite question, I guess. But yeah, so we are using containers, and we are also using serverless computing and so on. And also we are using many PaaS services like I discussed about the SQL database, but there is other similar services we want to use as well. I'm not really sure how to answer that tomorrow very quickly on that. But hopefully that helps.
Can I just ask in a limited scope a bit more about that? So about the tenancy, because I think many companies that are going SaaS, offering SaaS, they have to specify some level of multi-tenancy or single tenancy. So do you deploy your product per customer, or are there like shared tenancy aspects of it?
Yeah, well, there is, first of all, there is many components, and most of them are like, at least the computing level is the shared one. And also for our core application, most of our customers are using multi-tenant, but there is still like some reasons why we need to have a single tenant. It might be related to like a security configuration or something like that when we want to separate one customer from other. But yeah, so we have both options available. We are always using the same code base, so it's kind of still a scalable way of working, but at the same time, we always try to find ways to minimize amount of need for those using the single tenancy. Okay.
Thanks. There is also a question that is the highest voted at the moment. The comparison to other clouds, Google or Amazon. Have you done any?
I'm not sure how well I'm able to answer on that, but I think it's also very much related to what is your use case and what kind of technologies you want to use. And if you have experience on a specific platform, I guess it's always easy to select that one. But yeah, I don't have any true review done by myself on that. Okay. But quite often what I have been seeing is that those largest cloud platforms, they have their like similar kind of services available, and actually the pricing is also quite similar. So I think the other things probably make you decide how you want to do it.
Yeah, and I think you have a healthy attitude towards it as well. Like if you have a solution that works, why would you invest a lot in the exploring all of the available options? I'm reading maybe having my own interpretation as well. So then let's see.
There was at least a question about the costs. So how do you make sure costs are under control? I think there is many ways to do that, but maybe one of the key things is that we are going through those or monitoring the costs on monthly basis. We want to see the whole picture and update the numbers always. And then on daily basis, there is different ways to do that. But for instance, if you consider database costs, there are specific people who are monitoring it more closely and using long-term commitments and making it more cost safe and so on. Additionally, there is also every now and then some kind of small projects where we want to look in more detail at how it goes actually, and if there is major changes which we should do to make it cheaper. In those monthly checks, you cannot go through all the details, of course. So it's good to have also separate monitoring additional to that.
What do you do? What do you use as the separate monitoring?
That monthly monitoring, it's very much based on Power BI. So we had done our own dashboards there and so on. There is in Azure portal, there is also ways to do that, and it has been improving a lot during the last years. But as we had those dashboards already in place, so we are still using quite a bit of them.
I think we're running out of time for this session. So one last time, big thanks for the presentation.